Hallo zusammen, hier spricht Echofrosch und willkommen zurück zu Aviary, Attorney. Wir waren gerade im Garten und haben da nichts anderes gefunden als den Überrest einer Zigarre und schauen jetzt mal in die Lounge, wo das Foto gemacht wurde. Großartig. Second floor, third door on the right. This must be the room where the photograph was taken. Psst, hey, Falcon, did you see that? See what? That housemaid totally just did something shifty. Shifty? I think she just pocketed something from the drawer. You should totally call her out on it. Excuse me, mademoiselle. Ah, yes, are you two policemen? No, we're private attorneys. My name's J.J. Falcon. And I'm Sparrowson. Oh, how rude of me. My name's Colleen Duhart. So, what can I help you, messieurs, with today? We're investigating the murder that took place last week. Do you mind if we ask you a couple of questions? That's fine. Let me just grab a chair. That's better. What was it you wanted to ask? Yeah. We're looking for the room where the photograph was taken prior to the incident. Would you happen to know whether this is the right room? Oh yes, you're in the right place. I saw the photography session for myself. Let's see. The cameraman was standing just about where you're standing, actually, Monsieur Falcon. Das Falcon kommt dann immer in der französischen Betonung, wenn das Monsieur davor ist. Das ist furchtbar. And where was the camera pointed? Right at the clock above the mantelpiece. The Baron insisted on using that very location. Now that I'm looking at it, something isn't right about that clock. I know, the painting on it totally clashes with the decor. I was thinking along more obvious lines. The clock has no hands. Oh, that clock has never had hands in all the years I've worked here. I think Baron Rogwell just keeps it around as a conversation piece. Well, we're conversing about it, so I guess it's working. It's a peculiar detail, though. I'll make a note of it. Missing clock hands have been added to your evidence folder. Is there something else you wanted to ask? You were a little nervous when we came in. You thought we were police officers. Is there something we ought to know? Anything you need to confess? No. I suppose I'm just a little nervous after all the drama of last week. Ich bin nicht sicher. Ich meine, wenn Sparrowson irgendwas gesehen hat, dann sollten wir vielleicht schon ein klein wenig Druck ausüben. Are you sure there isn't anything that you're hiding? It's okay to tell us. We're defense attorneys. That means we help people get away with criminal acts. Right, and... Wait, what? No, that's not an accurate job description, Sparrowson. It isn't? Oh, what do we do then? I'll tell you later. Honestly, messieurs, I have nothing to hide. Was there something else you wanted to ask? No. No further questions. Thank you, mademoiselle. You've been a huge help. It's no problem, messieurs. Actually, there is something. I know you two saw me stealing as you came in. I appreciate that you didn't give me the third degree about it. You see, I'm trying to save up to follow my dreams and... Well, never mind, I'm rambling. It's no problem, mademoiselle. To be honest, we have a much larger crime to worry about. Although I should probably ask, I don't suppose you've been stealing anything else? Silverware, perhaps? You know about that? Yeah, I suppose that was me. It started with a couple of teaspoons. I didn't think the Baron would miss those, but, well... Yeah, I suppose the habit got a little away from me. That's one mystery solved, at least. Missing silverware. Wunderbar. I would appreciate it if you didn't tell the Baron. He's been really kind, and I would hate to break his trust. Also, ja, aber das hat sie schon gemacht. I see. So, where to next, Big Bird? Okay, ich meine, wir waren hier. Dann gehen wir zurück. Did you, messieurs, have a good look around? I trust everything was in order. We had a good look. Thank you, Baron, but we actually have some questions for you. Please ask away, I have nothing to hide. Ich würde gerne nach Colleen, heißt sie, fragen. Das Problem ist, ich weiß nicht, wenn ich jetzt hier drauf klicke, ob es dann sagt, oh ja, das Zimmermädchen stiehlt. Das möchte ich nämlich nicht unbedingt gleich sagen. Okay, wir fangen erstmal an. What happened on the night of the murder? Baron Rogale, I would like to ask about your activities on the night of the murder. Oh, ho, ho, am I in trouble? Ich meine 1848, wir sind schon sehr standesbewusst. Natürlich, selbst wenn wir irgendwie ihn verdächtigen, dürfen wir das nicht sagen. Nein. No, nothing like that. We're just gathering the full picture. I see. Well, let me think. The guests arrived at 5 o'clock and we all sat down for dinner in this very hall at 6. That part went magnificently. The photographer arrived at 7 o'clock, but it wasn't until 7:30 that we had our picture taken. My housemate discovered the crime scene soon after that. I see. Is there something else I can help you, messieurs, with? Wir fragen einfach mal nach ihr. We met your housemate, Colleen de Hort. She's a gorgeous young lady, isn't she? Ich weiß nicht. Oh, wir haben Granby. Ich habe so ein wenig... Also ich meine, ich möchte ihm nicht sagen, dass sie eine Diebin ist. Das Problem ist, wenn wir das mit dem Tafelsilber während des Gerichtsverfahrens erwähnen müssen. Egal, wir sind einfach mal nett zu den Leuten niedriger Gesellschaftsschichten. Das passt. Yes, she was more than willing to help us with our investigation. I'm glad to hear it. Did you two want to ask something else? Nein, wir gehen. I think that will be all, Baron. Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure. Have a delightful day, messieurs. Did you get all the information you needed, Falcon? I hope so. Don't worry, if everything goes wrong in the trial, we could always just wing it. Terrible. Just terrible. Let's head back to the office and get some rest. Gut, jetzt ist der 5. Das heißt, wir haben noch heute und morgen ist dann die Gerichtsverhandlung. Und wir müssen immer noch in das Studio des Fotografen gehen. Dann schauen wir mal. So, this is the studio of the famous photographer. Shall we knock? Wait, there's a note on the door. The magnificent and marvelous artist, Monsieur Robito de Robinho, is currently out on an artistic expedition. He shall return when his muse sees fit. When his muse sees fit? What does that even mean? I think it means that he is a pretentious bird brain, but in any case, the artist seems to be out. What shall we do now? We should knock anyway. Wenn wir schon da sind und den ganzen Tag brauchen. Alright, I don't see the harm. Nope, it doesn't look like he's in, Falcon. Ich meine, rein theoretisch wäre es, also die Gattung verlangt, dass wir einbrechen. Andererseits sehe ich nicht wirklich einen Sinn dahinter. Na, wir gehen einfach. There's nothing else to do. Let's make a move. I hate the feeling of a wasted trip. Is there really nothing else we can do? It's fairly unbecoming of a lawyer, but I suppose we could try to break in. What? Are you serious? Maybe. Monsieur J.J. Falcon, I would have thought that a man of justice like yourself would be against such reckless displays of unlawful barbarism. You're right. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over. It's a brilliant suggestion. Stand back, I'm barging the door down. What? Wait, just like that? Shouldn't we discuss this first? What in bird Jesus' name was that? You said you wanted to break in? I thought we could find an open window. I didn't think it would turn into a bird-sized cannonball. Well, now we're here, we ought to make the most of it. This place is quite something. It's very swanky? I was going to say ostentatious. That's just swanky talk for swanky. We don't have time for this. The sound of a door being smashed in could be drawing unwanted attention. We should find anything that may help our case and get out. Manchmal wünsche ich mir, dass man in einem Spiel einen Polizisten spielt oder einen Anwalt, wie in diesem Fall, der sich tatsächlich an das Gesetz hält und wo der Einbruch in irgendeine Wohnung oder wo das irgendwie nicht so, ja, das ist halt jetzt abgehandelt wird. Also gut, was haben wir hier? Wir haben ein Bild. I see a finely dressed dandy fellow upon a horse. Okay. A lighthouse? No, wait, it's a man in a top hat. Actually, if I squint and turn my head sideways, it's a black smudge falcon. A picture of a sailing ship on a windy day. This is a picture of a fence. It's a fancy photograph. It leaves the weird defenseless. Out of all the pictures here, I would pick it as my favorite. Okay, I'm done. No more fence puns. Was für ein Glück. This is a tiny photograph of what appears to be a jail cell. That reminds me, how illegal is this? You know, breaking and entering, rifling through a person's belongings. I'm not going to lie to you, Sparrowson. If we are caught, we will be spending the next 20 years with a number instead of a name. I call 24601. Don't be daft, Sparrowson. You can't call prison numbers. Damn, I wanted that one. Ich hoffe, ich werde nicht irgendwie bestraft dafür, wenn ich alle Bilder anschaue, dass dann irgendjemand reinkommt. Aber ich möchte die Bilder anschauen. A butterfly, or maybe a moth. It's difficult to tell in black and white. This is a photograph of a castle somewhere in the countryside. You know, I once had an uncle who once fell off a castle rampart while on guard duty. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Did he die? No, he got demoted. Ah. Terrible. This appears to be a photograph of a ladder, symbolic of climbing towards success, perhaps? It looks more like a stab ladder to me. Oh no, we're not getting into that old argument. A beautiful picture of the Paris skyline. Given the angle, this must have been taken from Notre Dame Cathedral itself. Okay. Also was so auffällt, ist, dass er vor allem Fotos von Landschaften und Dingen macht und weniger von Leuten. I see a bourgeois tigress in profile. Okay, vielleicht doch nicht. Vielleicht. Okay. A chandelier, you should get one of those for the office. I don't have the money for that sort of luxury. I see paints, inks and dyes. I'm not quite sure what the clear liquid in this bottle is. I could taste test it. You could, but we don't have time for a hospital visit right now, so let's not. Okay. Das heißt, das war's fast. Hey Falcon, look! What? It's just an easel. No, look what's on the easel. Oh wow, this must be a copy of the photograph from the evening of the murder. There's no question about it. I see a housemaid, Dame Cataline, and I think that's Signor Pourtois, Cataline's father. So what shall we do? Do we just take this? Ich meine, ich nehme an, dass ich keine falsche Entscheidung treffen darf. Was einerseits ein bisschen schade. Ich meine, ich weiß zu wenig, wie das Recht in dieser Zeit und in Paris funktioniert. Ob, wenn ich das mitnehme, ob das dann heißt, ja, super, Sie haben den Beweis, wow. Wir lassen es da. No, that would be a big mistake. Every half-competent lawyer knows that stolen property can't be used as evidence. Still, we've learned some valuable information by seeing this photograph in person. I suppose so. Is there anything else we need to do here? Ich glaube nicht. Sieht nicht so aus. I think we're done snooping. Let's get out of here before we draw further attention to ourselves. Sounds good to me. Uh-oh. Oh mon Dieu, what happened to my door? Ich meine, ich würde Falcons Ausspruch hier ist tatsächlich sehr gut. Ich nehme an, wir sollten die Wahrheit sagen. Well, Monsieur Robinho, it's like this. You see, we are attorneys who have been hired for the purpose of... Raven! A raven did it! We saw the whole thing! What are you doing, Sparrowson? I've got this. I'm not going to jail because your conscience is acting up. Nobody's going to jail, just take it easy. Damn ravens, they're always after our shiny objects, am I right? Yeah, that's right. Let's make a move. Trial day is approaching fast. Right, let's go. Super subtil. Super subtil. Okay. Und schon müssen wir zum Palais de Justice. Palace of Justice. Falcon and Sparrowson stand inside the marble portico of the Palais de Justice, awaiting the opening of the Tribunal de Grande Instance. Ja, vielleicht. Are you nervous, Falcon? Of course I'm nervous. We are woefully underprepared for this case. 2 days. We only had 2 days to prepare. How are we expected to get anything done in that time frame? Calm your feathers, Falcon. We can do this. Monsieur Falcon, Petit Sparrowson. Is there anything you need me to do? No, we've got a handle on things. Falcon was just telling me how confident he was feeling about the case. That's wonderful. I just know you two will pull through. Let's move it along, fellas. I'll be watching from inside. Do your best for me, Monsieur Falcon. We will. Are we ready? Yeah, we're ready. Judge Maxime. Er wirkt nicht besonders alt, oder? Sonst hätte ich ihm eine alte Stimme gegeben. Alright, settle down everyone, settle down. Is everybody here? J.J. Falcon, present. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Robert Rabbington, present. The ready is prosecution, Your Honor. Oh damn, that's not it. Oh gosh, where are my notes? Ha, I knew it. Knew what? Rupert and I went to Paris Law School together. He was in all of my classes. Oh, was he smart? No, he always scored the second worst marks in the class. I can only assume that he bumbled through the final exams on the luck of his 2 rabbits' feet. Unless he's improved considerably, you might already have this trial in the bag. That's good to know. But say, Sparrowson, if Rupert scored the second lowest marks in the class, then who scored the lowest? I choose to exercise my right not to self-incriminate. Here it is. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Are the jury all present? All present and accounted for, Your Honor. Hey Falcon, I thought there were only 6 members of the jury for cases like this. Why do I count 8? Oh, those 2 birds with the funny hats. Are assessors, the associate judges. Everything seems to be in order, so let us begin. The court is now in session for the trial of Dame Kathleen de Miao. Prosecution, please call your first witness to the stand. Oh gosh, are we there already? Okay, I choose to call the officer in charge of the murder investigation, Inspector Volerty, to the witness stand. Inspector Volerty, please approach the stand and recite the oath. As you will, Your Honor. I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Monsieur, Inspector, please state your name and occupation for the record. My name is Inspector Justy Volerty. I am a servant to the law, a scourge of the gutter rats that plague this city. I have enforced the law for over 20 years, and I shall continue until I bring the infamous Viridian killer to justice. My path begins 18 years ago. Let's stick to the questions, Inspector. Of course, Your Honor. Oh, great. I was hoping we could have one of those bumbling cuddly officers, but instead we are stuck with a lawful goody two-shoes. I bet this guy would turn on his own mother if he saw her littering. So, Inspector, is it true that you are the lead investigator on this case? That is correct. I was also among the first to arrive at the scene of the crime. Then, perhaps you can walk us through what you witnessed upon your arrival? Absolutely. Just after 7:30, we were alerted and brought to the scene by the housemaid of Baron Roger. At the scene of the crime, we found Dame Kathleen de Miao. She was standing over the corpse of Monsieur Grenouille with his blood on her paws. Well, that sounds like an open and shut case in my humble opinion. No more questions, Your Honor. Bloody paws? Nobody told me that detail. Keep it together, Falcon. You're about to be given the opportunity to cross-examine the witness. That's your opportunity to find flaws in the inspector's testimony. Of course, I know this. You may begin your cross-examination, Monsieur Falcon. Cross-examine the witness to find flaws in his testimony. Select the key phrase that you find suspicious and Falcon will press the witness for information. Avoid pressing for pointless details. Select the statement to question. Okay, also, sie wurden alarmiert und dahin gebracht durch das Zimmermädchen. Das ergibt soweit Sinn, denn sie hat das ja auch gefunden. At the scene of the crime we found Dame Catalin. Das klingt auch. Sliced open corpse stimmt auch, aber das Blut... Inspector, you say Dame Catalin had blood on her paws. Correct. Blood clung to her fur like guilt to a convict. How much blood was there? Enough for it to be clear that she had dirtied her hands on the victim's body. We noticed blood under the suspect's nails, around her fingertips, and even a little around her mouth. Her mouth! How vile! The inspector's answer seems pretty definitive. We have another question about the blood. Whose blood was it? Ha! What a question! It was Monsieur Grenouille's, of course. How can you be... how can you be so sure? I object. This line of questioning is absurd. There was only one murder victim that night, Falcon. The blood on Dame Catalin's paws could have only belonged to one person, Monsieur Grenouille. Judge, Falcon's trying to delay the trial by asking pointless questions. I'm afraid the prosecution may have a point, Monsieur Falcon. Do you have a reason to suspect that the blood belonged to someone other than Monsieur Grenouille? Ja, natürlich. Das Steak. Es war das Steak, denn sie hatten ja kein Besteck. Deswegen hatte sie am Mund und an den Pfoten Blut. I do, Your Honor. Actually, I have more than suspicion. I have evidence that the blood on Dame Catalin's paws has nothing to do with the murder. This is foolish time wasting, Falcon. If the blood on Dame Catalin's paws didn't come from the victim, then where did the blood come from? Vom steak! On the evening of the murder, Dame Catalin ate a bloody rare steak. Is this true, Monsieur Remington? Well, in a manner of, speaking, I suppose steak may have been on the, menu. Then, Inspector, would you acknowledge the possibility that the blood on the lady's paws did not belong to the victim, but to the steak? Well... Wait, don't, answer that, Inspector. It is a possibility. No! Intriguing. Pretty convincing. You gained a little favor with the jury. So, Inspector Volerti, is it possible that you arrested an innocent bystander simply for being a messy eater? Now hold on just for 1 minute, Falcon. You are overlooking something quite crucial. Dame Catalin is an elegant bourgeois kitten. She was no doubt brought up with a flawless etiquette and perfect table manners. At the banquet, she would have eaten the steak with a fork in the left hand and a knife in her right, like any proper civilized animal. How could she have possibly gotten blood on her paws with such good manners? Oh, that is a good question. Or at least, it would be at any ordinary dinner banquet. But as it happened, something was missing from that particular banquet. Something that forced Dame Catalin to eat with her paws. Das war das Besteck. Dame Catalin was forced to eat steak with her paws because... the silverware of the household had been previously stolen. Stolen? I don't recall any mention of that in the police report. We weren't aware of anything missing from the Rogale residence when we performed the initial investigation, but as it happened, Baron Rogale approached us about this very subject last night. Innocent, perhaps? What a twist! What is the meaning of all this? Bloody steak, misplaced silverware? Inspector, was your investigation so lax that you overlooked these basic facts in your initial report? Lax? Lax? My investigation? Judge, I assure you I am the most thorough investigative officer on the force. Then it is amazing that the Parisian police managed to solve any crimes at all. Boah. Oh dear. Be on your way, Inspector. Perhaps do a little inspecting for your next case. Fine, so be it, messieurs. Until next time. Prosecutor, I trust your next witness is ready. Yes, of course, Your Honor. I call upon, let's see, Monsieur Robizio Robinho, the, photographer who attended the banquet on the night of the murder. Monsieur Robizio Robinho, please approach the stand and recite the oath. How does it go? I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It's a little cliché, to be perfectly honest. Could the witness please introduce himself for the court record? As if anybody in this courtroom does not immediately recognize me. I'm the great Monsieur Robizio Robinho, cutting-edge photographer and visionary. I don't just take people's pictures, I capture their very essence. Je suis l'artiste, tu es un piep. Das ist natürlich eine Anspielung auf dieses berühmte Bild, das aber keine Pfeife ist. You may have seen my works in hip magazines Le Branché or C'est Chouette. I can send you tweets if you like. What on earth is a tweet? Bird-to-bird communication. Come on, Falcon, it's the 19th century. Get with the times already. Yes, your works are very impressive, Monsieur Robinho, but let's get down to business. Could you tell us your activities? Could you tell us your activities were on the night of the murder? Very well. I was hired by Baron Rogale to capture the evening's events. I arrived at 7 in the evening. I pointed my camera and captured the beauty of the banquet in one fantastic photograph. Then I billed Baron Rogale and left, like a true artist. And with regards to the photograph itself, who did you photograph? I thought you might ask, so I brought a copy so you could all see for yourself. Oh, very good. Let's take a closer look. Moment. My word, this is an exquisite picture, isn't it? So, let's see, who do we have here? Das ist ein anderes Foto, das auch in einem anderen Raum aufgenommen wurde, weil diese Uhr hat Zeiger. In the middle, we see Baron Rogale, the lion who hosted the event. On the left, we see Seigneur Pourtois de Miao, the father of the defendant, Dame Cataline. And finally, we see the housemaid, Colleen Duhon, who I suspect may have snuck into the picture uninvited. As you can see, two people are clearly absent from the photograph. The first is the victim, Monsieur Grenouille. The second is the defendant, Dame Cataline de Miao. Quite suspicious, wouldn't you agree? Just a moment, Monsieur Rabington. This proves nothing. So the defendant and the victim were not photographed with the others. That doesn't mean that they were in the garden together at that point. Hold your horses, Falcon. I'm not done yet. The prosecution may continue. Behind the photograph subjects, we see a wall clock with the time set at 7:30. Now, why is that time significant? Well, as Inspector Volerti told us earlier, that was the exact time the murder took place. Do you see, Falcon? Every suspect has an alibi at the time of the murder, save for Dame Cataline herself. Falcon, something is fishy. In the jail cell, Dame Cataline told us that she was present when the photograph took place, but I don't see her in Robinho's photograph. That's true, but I can't use Dame Cataline's testimony as evidence. It has too little weight. If I want to prove that Monsieur Rubinio's photograph is not a valid piece of evidence, I will have to dish out evidence of my own. Your Honor, I would like to cross-examine the witness. Very well, the defense may proceed. It's a waste of time, if you ask me. Photographs are rock-solid evidence. Okay. Set up my camera. Magnificent photograph. Das Foto ist irgendwie seltsam. Let's take a closer look at this photograph. Why is it in black and white? I see a mistake. Just to clarify, Monsieur Rubinio, photographs are a direct reflection of reality, are they not? That is correct. The photographic process leaves no room for bias or inaccuracies. That is most curious, because I see a mistake. A mistake? Impossible! I just told you, monsieur. The camera is a perfect, unbiased device. The photographs it produces are flawless. Falcon, I'm not seeing any, mistakes, because perhaps you could be more specific. Certainly. Ja, also die Uhr, nicht wahr? The clock in this photograph. There is something not right about it. Well, isn't that convenient? The defense sees something wrong with the key piece of evidence that implicates his client. Don't give me that cocky tone, Monsieur Remington. I have evidence that there's something wrong with the clock in that picture. Und zwar missing clock hands. The photograph clearly shows the clock's hands pointing at 7 and 6. That much is self-evident. Which is most curious, because the clock in the lounge of Chateau Crinière has no hands. It's no hands? The clock is merely a decorative piece, a talking item. Feel free to ask Baron Roger or his housemaid if you have doubts. Monsieur Rubinio, how do you explain this discrepancy? I don't know. There must be some sort of mistake. My camera is flawless. There is no mistake, monsieur. Your photograph depicts something that does not exist in the real world. Maybe there was an error in the printing process. An error precisely where the clock's hands should be? Please, monsieur, don't patronize us. Allow me to offer a more plausible explanation. You, Monsieur Rubinio, edited this photograph. Edited? I'm no expert, but I suspect that you used paint or ink to carefully put hands upon the clock. It would have been a simple task, considering that the clock face was bare. One could even speculate that you specifically chose to include a handless clock in the photograph just to simplify the editing process. Falcon, your reasoning is absurd. Why would the witness do such a thing? Is it not obvious? By showing the photograph to have taken place at precisely 7:30, it clears all the photograph's subjects of suspicion. In other words, Monsieur Rubinio created a perfect alibi. Of course, this raises further questions. Who is the witness protecting? And why? Was Monsieur Rubinio coerced? Bribed? Threatened? Enough silence, let's hear some answers, Monsieur Rubinio. Fine, you got me, I am guilty, I did it all. You did it? You're confessing to the murder of Monsieur Grenouille? What? No, I have no idea who killed the frog. I'm just admitting that I'm guilty of producing fraudulent photographs. I was ordered to make changes to the printed photographs, and yes, that included adding hands to the clock. You were ordered. By whom? I dare not say. Monsieur Rubinio, I strongly advise you to answer the defense's question. You have pledged to speak without fear, after all. With respect, Judge, I fear his claws more than I fear the punishment of the justice system. I shall name no names. His claws, did you hear that, Falcon? That is most unfortunate. Monsieur Rubinio, we cannot and shall not torture names out of you. We don't live under the ancient regime, after all. But since you have admitted to falsifying evidence, then we cannot keep you on the stand as a witness. Take your leave. You shall be charged with perjury in due course. I can't protest. That's the least I deserve for my failure as an artist. Good day, messieurs. Intriguing. Pretty convincing. Oh. So, the, clock's hands were painted on. So what? It doesn't matter. The photograph still depicts Dame Cataline as absent close to the time of the murder. That's significant. Don't be dense, Monsieur Rabington. If the photograph is not completely genuine, then it cannot be considered reliable evidence. Why not? It's still a portrayal of the, night's events. Because, if we accept that one part of the picture was edited, then we must accept the possibility that other parts were too. It is possible that Dame Cataline was painted out. Even worse, it is possible that another person was painted in. We know that a witness was trying to cover for someone, so all possibilities must be accounted for. So, what are you saying, Falcon? That the housemaid paid off the photographer, or it was Seigneur Pourtois de Millon, perhaps? I don't think so. The housemaid lacks a means or motive, and it wouldn't make sense for Seigneur Pourtois to implicate his own daughter. Well, surely you're not suggesting that the honest and beloved Baron Roger deliberately tried to frame Dame Cataline, because that would be the most outlandish theory yet. The Baron is a pillar of our community. He would never do such a thing. Monsieur Rabington, I am not here to throw accusations. That's the job of you, the prosecutor. However, mayhaps I should offer my opinion. Baron, it's not time for your witness testimony yet. So you would think, prosecutor, and yet I see my good reputation getting tarnished by your incompetence. Incompetence? Indeed. Let us proceed with witness questioning. Is that fine with you, Judge? Yes, I suppose that's fine. Very good, and I trust that the defense has no objections. No objections here. Fantastic. Oh, but before I forget, I pledge to speak without fear and prejudice, etc., etc. Now, prosecutor, ask me about what I witnessed over the course of the evening. Oh, okay, Baron Roger, on the, night of the initial dinner went magnificently. When the photographer arrived, Monsieur Granouille left to visit the garden. Dame Cataline followed behind him moments later. Seigneur Pourtois, Monsieur Robinho and myself were engaged in conversation, so we paid her no mind. After the photographer left, my housemaid left to go find Monsieur Granouille and Dame Cataline. That would be when I heard her cry for help. Thank you, Baron. I think we all know the story from there. I would like to cross-examine the witness. Do you doubt my integrity, garçon? I'm just here to uncover the truth, Baron. Very well then, hit me with your best shot. Let us establish with absolute certainty that I, Baron Roger, am an honest man. The defense may proceed with cross-examination. Okay. Dinner went magnificently. Yeah, good. Photographer arrived, Monsieur Granouille left to visit the garden. Dame Cataline followed behind. My house... Was stimmt nicht? Ich meine, wir wissen, dass das Zimmermädchen die Leiche entdeckt hat. Das Problem ist, dass Dame Cataline wahrscheinlich mit auf dem Foto war. Garden? Baron, we saw the murder scene, your garden, for ourselves. When was the last time you visited it? Baron Roger, when was the last time you ventured into your own garden? As it happens, I have quite serious allergies. I haven't been in my own garden for years. Years, you say? Indeed. Baron, I do not wish to call you a liar, but that claim does not hold up to scrutiny. Oh, and why is that? Because we have hard evidence that you have visited the garden recently. Balderdash, my word is gold. Show the court this so-called hard evidence that I've been in my garden. This was found in your garden. To be specific, it was found inside the fountain basin, right beside where the murder occurred. A cigar butt? That could belong to, anybody, and... Prosecutor, please shut your mouth. I can speak for myself. Oh, okay. Sorry, Baron. That is indeed the remnants of one of my cigars, but I must apologize, Monsieur Falcon, for I misunderstood your initial question. You see, prior to the banquet I hadn't visited my own garden in years, but naturally, after hearing the housemaid's cry for help on the evening of the murder, I rushed outside. I was shocked and disgusted by what I saw. That must have been when I dropped my half-smoked cigar in the fountain basin. You see, Falcon, there's a perfectly reasonable explanation. I would find that believable if the cigar were casually discarded. But as it happened, the cigar butt was found in the fountain's upper basin, a location that could only be accessed with great inconvenience. And a little paddling. The cigar butt was not dropped. It was deliberately hidden. There are any number of possible explanations. Are there? Because I can only think of one. That is, that you, Baron Rogale, deliberately hid your cigar butt to disguise your own illicit activities. Did I now? And what illicit activities would those be? You want me to spell it out? Fine. Let's put everything on the table. You, Baron Rogale, murdered Monsieur Grenouille. That is what you were trying to keep hidden. Directly accusing me of murder? How shamelessly brazen. That is a ludicrous accusation, Falcon. The Baron is an upstanding citizen of the highest order. Your allegation is baseless. You have no evidence, no, means, motive, or opportunity. No evidence? Think harder, Monsieur Abington. Every piece of evidence points to Baron Rogale as the prime suspect. You know, you want the means? The Baron certainly had the means. His lion's claws are as sharp as a surgeon's blade. Gutting a frog belly would be trivial to him. Even Monsieur Robinho confessed just moments ago that he feared his claws. Ridiculous! I would never threaten a man with violence. You want a motive? The Baron had at least 10,000 francs worth of motive. By removing a business partner, the Baron's share of his railway company increased from 1/3 to 1/2. This is preposterous! And finally, the Baron had an opportunity. No, he crafted the perfect opportunity. He arranged a small banquet with a very select number of guests. He was aware of the missing silverware, and yet he served steak, a food item that necessitates good cutlery. Why? To bloody the hands of his guests, of course. Then he hired an easily influenced photographer and staged a very specific picture in order to build a perfect alibi for himself. Photographing the guests in front of a handless clock to make for easy editing is quite an ingenious plan, it must be said. Prosecutor, are you just going to let this slanderous yarn go uncontested? Say something! Object! Oh, you're pitifully useless! After executing the murder, the Baron found himself still holding a single piece of incriminatory evidence, his finished cigar. He knew that leaving it at a crime scene would raise suspicion, but he didn't have time to properly dispose of it. So, out of desperation, he threw it into his fountain, out of the sight of his guests and any snooping police. I imagine the Baron was hoping to implicate Seigneur Portois de Miao, since that would ensure total control over his railway company. Alas, Dame Canterline was the first to happen upon the crime scene, so the Baron improvised. This is an outrage! Judge, I demand that you dispel this ranting lunatic. No, there's only one outrage here. That is, that a man like yourself is able to abuse his wealth and status to frame an innocent girl for murder. You're bourgeois of the worst kind. How dare you, Gus, or the utter nerve for a lying scumbag of a lawyer to accuse a philanthropist like myself of something so heinous? I'm nothing like the fat cat bourgeois. I'm a respectable, hard-working capitalist. No, you're a ruthless man who would slaughter a dear friend just to reap a few francs. You incredulous whelp, I ought to gut you right here and now like a damned frog! Could someone please restrain the Baron? I'm on it, Your Honor. Let's go, old man, to the conciergerie with you. Don't touch me, you filthy jackdaw. I can walk myself. This is quite a turn of events. Does the prosecution have anything to add? Well, in a manner of, speaking, well, to be honest, no. Then I shall confer with the members of the jury to come to a decision. I ask that the animals of the court please be patient in this time. Falcon, that was pretty incredible. Thank you. I just hope it was enough. What do you mean? You just proved Cataline's innocence. We'll get a not guilty verdict for sure. Sparrowson, I think you've misunderstood something important about the justice system. What's that? I haven't proved anything. As lawyers, we cannot deal in proofs. It's just not possible. All we can do is organize the evidence and convincingly explain what it suggests. I haven't proved Dame Cataline's innocence. All I have done is demonstrate that there is a significant possibility that she is not guilty. I'm not sure that I understand the difference. We have reached a decision. In the light of the recent revelations, it is clear that an error of judgment was made with the initial arrest. On that note, we unanimously find the defendant, Dame Cataline de Miao, to be not guilty. Woohoo! Not guilty! Monsieur Falcon, Petit Sparrowson, you did it! Yes, I suppose we did, didn't we? We should head back to the office so we can celebrate properly. You did it, Falcon! I can't take all the credit. This was a group achievement. I'm so proud of you both. I'll go get 1 bottle of wine and 3 of our least dirty glasses. You were amazing, Monsieur Falcon. Ah, it was nothing. I very much liked the way you pinned the murder on the Baron. That was an act of sheer genius. Well, I didn't pin anything. Sparrowson and I just worked at unveiling the truth, given the facts of the case. Monsieur Falcon, there's no need to play coy. The case is over. Play coy? Don't tell me you're actually being sincere. I'm completely lost. Oh, wow. I thought the goody-goody thing was an act, but you actually don't know. Alright, I'll spell it out for you. I murdered Monsieur Grenouille. I saw him in the garden, all drunk and vulnerable, and I seized my opportunity. It was nothing personal, just business, you understand? Business. To increase my papa's share in the train company, of course. My papa always said that the drunk old frog was the weakest link. Your confession doesn't make any sense at all. I found Baron Rogale's cigar butt hidden in the garden. Oh, I put it there. I expected the police to find it, but I suppose that was putting too much faith in the brains of Paris's finest. But Falcon proved that Monsieur Robinho's photograph was edited. It was edited. I wasn't in the picture because I was busy paying a visit to Monsieur Granouille in the garden. My papa knew I needed an alibi, so he ordered Monsieur Robinho to paint me over Baron Roger and to add a hands to the clock. But that lazy artist didn't manage to finish altering the photograph by trial day. It's a good thing that Monsieur Falcon was so imaginative, because that could have gone very badly. What's with the silence? You should both be proud. There aren't many lawyers in the whole of France who could have won a case like this, even for a bourgeois kitty like me. I think you should leave. Fine, so much for the celebrations. Here's the payment for your services, straight from my papa's pockets. Well, adieu, Monsieur Falcon. Adieu, Petit Sparrowson. Falcon, what do we do now? Falcon? The game has been saved. Do you wish to continue? Und ich denke, das ist eine großartige Gelegenheit, um einen Cut zu machen. Ich wollte dieses Video eigentlich schon länger beenden, aber es hat einfach alles so gut zusammengepasst. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zusehen und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal. Bis dahin.